All right, welcome to the Small Market Podcast with your hosts, Watucky and Hoffman. This is Andy Watucky. I'm AJ Hoffman, and we are here with a special guest today, Mr. James Moore, a former Michigan State Spartan. How you doing today, Mr. Moore?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
Great.
All right. We're going to get back to this a little bit later, but I kind of wanted to start off with we're just really, really interested. We're intrigued with your story, and that's why we wanted to get you on, is because I felt like other outlets, and not to like knock other media outlets or anything, but I don't feel like they did your story justice quite to the extent that they could have, especially as far as like chronology and all that stuff. So we're glad to have you on, and that you gave us the time that you're giving us today. So we're just kind of going to start from the top, and we'll just go down the bottom, and if we get anything out of order, or your story out of order or out of whack or anything, you just let us know, okay?
Okay, that'll work.
Now, just so our listeners are aware, James is a 1988 Rose Bowl champion, and he was highly touted as a recruit coming out of Sexton High School, and that's the Lansing area. James, you chose Michigan State. What other schools were courting you, and what extents did they go about doing that?
Wow. And it's funny that you asked that. I was actually being recruited by everybody in the country. Yeah. Everybody in the country was recruiting me. And, back then we didn't have the social media. Okay. Back then they had to send letters.
Oh,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, see, you guys are kind of young, so yeah, you were.
Yeah, we see all the stuff on social media now. People putting on the hats to the places they're going to. And...
Yeah, you didn't have none of that. So I had letters from everyone in the country, and I actually made a list of 12 schools that I would, talk to, and because I didn't want to waste nobody's time.
Okay, fair enough. Now, who else was on that list?
You had, of course, Michigan. You had Florida State, Arizona State, USC. You name it. SMU was on there. Yeah, like I said, it was. Everyone in the country was recruiting me at that time.
Now, when you were going through, you won the Rose Bowl in '88, and you were the fullback, and you were clearing a lot of holes for Lorenzo White, and the next season, you succumbed to injuries, and you didn't see the field as much.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. First of all, let me say this: it wasn't just me. It was Montgomery and Joe Pugh. Okay, it was three of us because one person could not do that fullback position by himself for a whole season in the Big Ten, especially me being the smallest fullback in the Big Ten at that time. I was only 215.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I wanted to, give kudos to my boys that my teammates that allowed us to do that for Lorenzo. But the question was, against Michigan, I had like 6 catches, and my last catch, I came down and dislocated not dislocated, but bruised my shoulder, so I was done for the game.
Now, you had mentioned, you're giving shout-outs to the other guys, your teammates that were helping you with that role. That kind of led into my next question. Not seeing the field as much, was there any kind of animosity in the locker room between you, like and George Perlis, or any of the teammates that maybe were taking your field time when you were trying to recover and come back?
One thing that I've always been, and I've always been a positive person. I've always been the glass is half full, it's not half empty type of person. There was no animosity, there was no riff, none of that. Okay, it's a game, it's a sport. Things happen, and you keep it moving.
That's a positive attitude to have. Now, so that gets me into where we read your article that was in the Lansing State Journal, and that's what Hoffman was kind of referencing, that we weren't. It was a good article, but we didn't think they really hit on some things that they maybe should have. But I'm just going to go in chronological order. They mention, they give your whole backstory with drug use. and how, but they don't really explain how that came to be, what happened, how you were introduced to that in the first place. Is there, I mean, was it just after your college career, the NFL not necessarily materializing? Did that have a mental effect that?
One thing I don't do is blame anything, but it does have an effect when you played the game for so long as I did, and then it's done. Not that it's done. I trained for the combines for a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh Dallas was interested. I trained for the combines, and I seen that I wasn't doing what it took to go back to college for another year, let alone try to go to that next level. Okay, so that showed me that I'm kind of at peace with it. Let's just hang it up.
Right.
Then after that set in, it was kind of like a state of depression. Something was missing, a void, and I turned to using.
Now,
as the next to go.
Hoffman, did you want to?
No, go ahead. You're doing fine.
So, from there, if people have read the Lansing's, their journal article, you come to the realization that you're on a bad track, and this is where I kind of have I don't want to say a beef with the article, but I felt they could have done more. They mention swap very little. Yeah. Speaking with a positive attitude, would you be able...
Speaking with a purpose?
Oh, with a purpose. My apologies.
Okay. No,
you're the guy that I want to talk to about it then, because I feel like they really hammered home the trials and tribulations that you had, but they didn't really... The comeback story is what you're doing now, and I don't feel they really dwelled on that a whole lot. I mean, not to really rip into them. I'm not a writer, so I don't really have a leg to stand on there. But
I am a writer, and I've done plenty of articles myself, and I just felt like it was kind of poorly written, and I want to say they did the best they could in trying to get information out there. But I think they missed the mark on getting your redemption story out there, getting your comeback story out there, like Watucky said,
Hey, but guess what? That's why I got you two now, okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
That's why we wanted you on.
Okay. So we're going to get it out there and take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So tell our listeners, what is SWAP, and what are you doing with that?
SWAP is speaking with a purpose. One thing that after everything that I've been through in my life, we all have a story to tell. Okay? So why not swap that negative behavior, negative thoughts, negative images, any negative thing going on in your mind? Why don't we swap that out for positive? Okay? Because that's the only way we're going to be successful in life, period. In our job, in our personal life, in anything we do in life. So my thing was, hey, let's just swap everything out and do it the right way.
I agree with you. It's like you've ever heard people say like you speak it into existence, right? You're like manifesting it, and that's like it's almost like a natural law. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. If you think positive things will happen. Am I wrong?
Hey, with a positive attitude, you can succeed in life and everything. With a negative attitude, you will not succeed in nothing.
Exactly. So, where do you go around then speaking to local high schools or anything of that nature?
I have spoken at like 5-6 different places. I went to the prison and spoke for 3 or 4 times. I go to different sporting events and speak to the kids. I am trying to build my brand.
Okay.
I am trying to grow this, but because it's not for me. Okay, it's not for me. It's for people out here that need to hear this. We're all going through something. I can tell you a quick story. I was in Jackson, Michigan, doing an autograph signing, and a gentleman came up and said, "Hey, James, hey, I just want to let you, hey, no, hey, James, how you doing, man? It's good to meet you. And I just want to let you know you saved my life. And I'm looking at this. He had to be in his mid-40s. And I'm like, okay, hey, okay, I'm James. What's your name? He introduced himself to me. And I said, where do I know you from? He said, you don't know me, James. I read your story. And I want you to know that you saved my life. That right there is what SWAP is about.
Yeah, that's
what was his story, James? What did he have to tell you?
He was an alcoholic. He was drinking all the time.
Okay.
He was on a crash course to losing everything.
Wow.
And he read my story, and that's what it's all about. It's all about, if one person could read that story and it makes a difference in their life, that's why I did it. Because we all have stories to tell. Okay? Every single one of us has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Okay? And what SWAP is all about giving them that platform to share their story. I mean, because I can go down a list. I have my daughter that has a story to tell. I have my son. He's in prison right now. Okay? He's doing 7 years. He did 5 years. He's got two to go. When he gets out, we're going to go around and do some speaking because he is a great kid. Okay? He made one mistake. And luckily he's alive. Okay? But he got a second chance. He's doing 7 years. He's going to get out and he's going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Well, his story's not finished.
It's not finished. It's just beginning.
Yeah.
It's just beginning. And I'm so excited. I'm just, like I said, I just sit back and I put it in God's hands and I do my part because God ain't going to work if we don't do our part. But I just sit back and, let things fall into place.
Now, as you mentioned, it's in God's hands. There's a lot of people that, given the things you face and stuff, could be very angry and very frustrated. That's a very optimistic way of looking at it. I read in one of your things, or I forget what was a video I watched, where you said there's a plan in everything. There's like a purpose in everything.
Purpose for everything. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason because God had, the thing is, how are you going to get through it? How are you going to respond? A pastor of mine, Pastor Dorian Hensey in Ohio, when I lived in Cincinnati, he made a statement, and I try to live by it every day. First of all, he takes his hand like that and cups it, and he says, "James, that's God's hand, and you're in it." Okay, just like that. And then he says this: storms are going to come, regardless, for everybody. Storms are going to come. The key is, how are you going to respond to those storms when they come? Because some storms are worse than others.
Yeah.
How are you going to respond to them? Would you respond to them like man does? Or are you going to respond to them like God would?
That's where SWAP comes in. Being positive about the situations you're in and knowing that that'll pass if you remain positive.
I have a tattoo on my arm. Take a guess. Just both you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a shot here. Take a wild guess at what this tattoo on my arm says. It's along the biblical lines.
John 3:16. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty common thing. I don't know. I don't know.
Wait till you hear it. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And I put that there for me. Okay? Because that way it's on my forearm. I can look down. I'm looking at it right now. I can look down. Whatever I'm going through, be it good, hey, if it's good, we'll keep it rolling. Be it bad, this too shall pass.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, James, we got to delve into the darker stuff a little bit too.
Hey, let's do it.
And I know we kind of jumped ahead. We're pulling the Lansing State Journal, but no, I'm what was the trauma? There had to have been some sort of trauma that kind of set you off on the path to drugs and alcohol.
Well, I have to say that, you know, we all have addictive traits in our lives.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, my mother, rest her soul, she overcame her addiction, you know, and was clean for 20 something years before she passed in '08. Okay. My dad, he overcame his alcoholism, you know, and he overcame it, you know, retired from GM maybe 9-10 years ago. And he's, you know, he's doing well now, besides the Alzheimer's sitting in, and he's 83 years old. So, you know, he's still alive. He lived a full life. I believe it's just, I made bad choices, you know. I made bad choices. I was in a state of depression, and instead of going the correct way, and I can't say it was the wrong way. I made bad choices, and I chose to start doing drugs. I started smoking weed. I started drinking a little more. I started smoking crack. You know, I started doing that stuff. Okay, and I don't blame anything. It was just choices that I made at that time. You know, yes, it could have been. Yes, I could say, man, football, it made me do it. I just was so depressed, and so, you know, that's a cop out way, you know. Because I had choices.
Right.
Okay? I had choices. And I chose that.
Yeah.
But by the grace of God, you know, he, you know, had me right there.
Yeah. Now, give me, what was kind of your first encounter with it? Or what, like, did a fan come up to you and offer you something? Was it a girl? No. Was it a teammate or something? Like, what happened?
It was just, I was out with a bunch of guys and buddies hanging out, you know, and, you know, used to have a couple drinks here, have a couple drinks there, you know, smoke a joint here. So, you know, we started doing a line here and there, and, you know, then it just snowballed.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't even pinpoint the first time I did it, you know, but I know when I started smoking, it snowballed effect to where I was not smoking with people because you get paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I became the closet, you know, closet addict, where I'm at home doing it by myself. And that's where it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But I didn't think so. I was still going to work every day. I was still a single father raising my daughter by myself.
So did it start after college then? Is that when it happened?
That's when it started, after college.
It was well after college then. Okay.
It was right. I mean, 2 years, year after college, you know, after I finished, you know, after my last year, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure. It was kind of cloudy as to when that happened or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It wasn't during. One thing about me, and when I'm into something like football and I was into what I was doing, I was in it 100%. I was an athlete. I maybe drank on the weekends when I played. You know what I'm saying? Have a couple drinks here and there. But one thing about me, I worked hard, and I didn't want. Plus, I was born and raised in Lansing.
Yeah.
Okay, my goal coming out of high school was to be like Magic Johnson. Okay, I was a bad boy for his softball team when I was younger, so I know Magic personally, and I that was my golden dream, to be Magic Johnson, but on the football field.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make bad decisions to affect my family, because my grandmother was the president of the Lansing School District, Gilda Richardson. All right. So the last thing I wanted is James Moore's name in the paper for doing something stupid.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it all started after college.
Okay. So in between when you first started to then when did the legal trouble happen? Was it right as soon as that stuff was happening, or what?
I was blessed. There were no legal trouble.
Oh, okay.
There was no legal trouble.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you. After my mother passed away, I moved to Grand Rapids, and I was living in Grand Rapids. I had my daughter. You know, it got to the point where I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know if you read the story, what really hit it for a head is the night I left my daughter at home by herself. Okay, she was 11 years old. It was a Saturday, and of course I take my ride over to the spot over on Franklin, and I pull up. I call my man. Hey, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. And he comes out, you know, of course, from the back of the house. Again, nobody see it's dark. The police pull up behind me. And of course, my heart is racing. I know, I already got it in my hand, okay? He done dropped it already. He's gone.
Oof.
My heart. Okay. All of a sudden, they take off. They go someplace else. And I hightail it out of there. Okay. I get home. Of course, you know, I'm in that mode right now. I'm gonna blaze up. I blazed up, you know. And the next morning I woke up. I felt my life flashed in front of me. It was like an outer body experience. Okay. Whereas I seen my daughter in the court system. I seen my job. I worked at Valleywood Middle School in Kentwood. I seen my job gone. I seen my name on headlines in the paper. And everything just flashed in my head. And then God smacked me. Said, "You're done, my son." I broke all my stems. I broke everything and never touched it again.
Wow.
That's
okay. And that's just, you know, that's how it happened. I can't make anything up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, yeah. That's.
But I was lucky. I was very lucky because it could have been played out a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
A whole different way. The legal system, just a whole different way. And it wasn't. So that's why I, you know, want to share my story. I want to get it out there. I want people to know there is ways. There is a will. Where there's a will, there's a way. And it's not just, I was blessed to be able to do it my way. Okay. That just happened to me. I'm not going to say it's going to happen to everybody that way. Okay. Because everybody has to take different steps. Everybody has a different recovery system. All right. But that's just how it happened to me. And it worked. And, you know, look where I'm at now, doing well.
Yeah.
Now,
well, wait.
Go ahead.
Quick question before that. I know I keep analyzing this stuff, but like, so were you religious beforehand? Like,
I've always had God in my heart. I've always, you know, not that I went to church every Sunday, not that my parents made us go to church. We've always had that foundation. That foundation has always been there. Okay, so very prayerful, and know that, you know, he's got us. We just got to continue to lean on him. You know, he's a forgiving God. He's been through all kind of stuff for us.
Yeah.
So that's just, you know, that's just how my brothers see it. It's 7 boys in my family. It's 3 older than me and 3 younger than me.
Yeah.
Okay, mom and dad, GM workers.
Yeah.
Blue collar.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good question. They lead into what I was going to say, Hoffman, or ask. What the foundation was like at home in your youth, because a lot of people trying to kick a habit or an addiction can't see the warning signs, kind of like you did, to say, okay, this has got to stop now. It doesn't happen for everybody. Not everybody has. There had to have been something in your childhood that gave you a good foundation. Your upbringing, you know, at home.
Hey, my mom and dad. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
My parents. You know, my parents, man, they're phenomenal. Okay, first of all, my father, Cleveland Moore. He met my mother, and she had 3 boys, Marcus, myself, and Dwayne. He met my mother, and he adopted 3 of us. gave us his last name. My last name was Lynch. Okay? He adopted us, and I became a Moore. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. All right? He raised us. My uncle passed away. He took in his 2 sons, Tony and Daryl. And then my mother had my 2 younger brothers, Cleveland and Chris. And he raised 7 boys.
Wow.
Never treated us like stepkids. You hear me? That's Dad. If I seen my biological father on the street, I wouldn't know him from Adam. Okay. All I know is Cleveland Morris is a man. Is a man. When you take in 3 kids, take in 2 more, and then have 2, and raise all of us with no animosity, no nothing, never. So that's where the strong foundation. And then my mother was a strong black woman. Okay, you know, to have 7 boys, she had to be strong. She was a little old lady. Okay, but whatever she had in her hand, she would use it. Okay, okay, and it didn't take long for us to get a grip of it. Okay.
Yep.
All right, here I gotta do this. Okay. I gotta do this. That's Linda.
Oh,
that's Linda.
She's beautiful.
Okay? She's smiling down on us right now. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then this one. And then this one. This is not. Now you guys this is back in the 70s. Okay. That's Mom and Dad.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. Yep.
So that's my rock. That's what instilled everything in us and all my brothers.
Yeah.
I knew when I heard you say that that you're not putting blame on anything, you're accepting personal responsibilities. I knew that in that household there were people that taught that. I mean, to come back to that years later, to be able to turn yourself around and acknowledge responsibility, that's something that's got to be put in your foundation as a youth. You know, when you're younger. You know, to have that.
Yeah.
I can just tell.
And that's something that I try to do with my kids too.
Yeah.
Well, what was it about football that attracted you to the sport?
Hitting somebody. Okay.
Fair enough.
I wanted to hit somebody. I got hit enough. I had 3 older brothers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I was the crybaby too. I was the one that I'm telling mommy. I was mama's boy. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, them 3 older brothers kicked my butt. I'm like, okay. But then I took it out on the younger 3, but that's okay because you know, I just when I started playing football, it was with Gordon Bulldogs, Alsac Raiders, and Don Christie was my coach, and it was he started practicing. We lived over on Lafayette and Lansing, right there by Northwestern, by the airport. He had made practices right there because I lived 2 houses away, so I could never miss practice.
That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Well, take your ass to practice. You can walk to practice. They ain't got to pick me up or nothing. And excuse my language, but it is what it is. I started my first year I played. I was a guard. I was offensive guard.
Oh.
I was a big kid, and they put me on the guard, and I was like, okay, I can hit somebody. This is okay. But then I said the next year I was like, I want to run the ball. And after they gave me that ball one time and I ran everybody over one time, coach was like, you run the ball all the time. And guess what? That's where it's at though. That's what started it. And, you know, like I said, I was a big kid. And, I got held back in the 4th grade. I had a reading disability, you know. But you know what? That didn't hold me back none. You know, I still struggle with that. I work at it every day, still to this day. But you know, like I said, with a positive attitude, you can succeed in life in anything. With a negative attitude, you will not succeed in nothing.
Yep.
You cannot nothing hold you back, and not blame anything. You know, do your part, step up, and do what you got to do.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
James, I want to ask you some questions that aren't necessarily specific to your story, but I just want to get your take on some things in the world today, if that's all right.
That's fine. That's fine.
I was listening to your podcast interview with Al Martin on being black in America, and that got me thinking about being a black athlete in America nowadays. And we see a lot of stuff on TV about fans now using extremely vulgar language. We've seen it in the NBA where they're using slurs and being tossed out of games. And it seems to be like there's more of this than I remember when I was a kid going to games. And I'm not saying there wasn't. I'm just saying as a youngster, when my dad would take me to games, you booed, but my dad would slap me if I was sitting there calling people names.
Yeah. That right there, it's always been there. The ignorance people that are doing it now, they're just feeling more comfortable now, and think they can get away with it. It's been out there. It's been like that. It's been like that forever. Okay, but it's been undercover. Swept under the rug. I mean, people, not being as blatant with it. Okay, Now it's just now, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just starting to happen more often. Somebody slips up and their true colors come out, and it's sad.
Yeah,
because I don't see color. We don't see color.
Right.
We all bleed the same. All right, and it's sad, but racism has been there forever.
Well, yeah,
racism is, and it's not going nowhere neither. Okay, we just have to recognize it. Okay, because you can smile in my face and call me the N-word behind my back. Okay, but you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies even closer.
Right. Now, did you ever experience any of that type of thing personally during your playing time?
You know what? I can say yes, but it wasn't where it was a blatant one. It's where I can tell by how somebody's acting or talking to me, how they feel about me, about my skin color. Okay, it's not like they're using the word. It's not like they were just. I could just tell by some of the words that come out their mouth, the way they talk to me. You can tell when people are racist. You can tell because they just say some things that we're like, whoa, did he just say that? But it wasn't to where it was overboard where I'd have to grab around the collar or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know. And it's sad because, we've come so far, but still yet have so far to go.
Yeah. It seems like sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back type of thing. You're not getting the full progress.
And it's sad. But you know what? It's life, And what I do is I pray for them ignorant folks, okay? Because karma's a bitch. It is. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I say that. It is. Good. There's good karma, and there's bad karma, okay? It is. It's going to come back at you. I don't know how, I don't know when, but that right there, God don't like ugly. That's my mother's favorite line. God don't like ugly, baby.
She wasn't lying.
Yeah. I see your Braves hat on there, buddy.
Yeah, you like that?
Man, you know me. I'm a Johnny Smokes fan, baby. I'm Johnny Smokes, baby.
Oh, yes. Boy, I tell you what, those Braves talk about it all the time. That rotation with Maddox, Smoltz, Avery, Glavine.
That was baseball, baby.
That was one of the great rotations. For me personally, I grew up watching them, you know what I mean, on TBS. Yeah. They always had them on TBS. You could catch the Braves games and stuff. And I remember watching that when I was a kid. Even though I'm a Tigers fan.
Me too. I'm a Tigers fan. But, John graduated the same year I did. He went to Waverly High School.
Okay.
He's from Lansing. He went to Waverly High School.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's from Lansing, Michigan. Waverly. And we went to Waverly, Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
So was Sexton then a rivalry school of Waverly?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I can tell you, and I think I had. That's the game that George Curtis came to. I had 332 yards, 4 touchdowns against them. George was in that game.
It's a good game for him to come to.
I got excited. Yeah, I'm not ready to play again.
Nothing wrong with that. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you? How aware were you of like people being in the crowd and stuff? I mean, at Michigan State,
you can hear Notre Dame was the worst place to play at.
Yeah,
because they're right up on you.
Yeah,
that field, there's no drop, there's nothing. They're right up on you.
Right.
So you would hear stuff. One thing, I refereed for 15 years. Okay, so I try not to have rabbit ears. Okay. When it comes to that, because of refereeing, but
yeah,
you can hear stuff. You're in such a zone. You don't really pay no mind to it unless somebody comes out and smacks you or something.
Right.
Okay.
Well, now, like, were there any? What put the pressure on you the most, like before a game? Like, what would really? Was there anything that anybody could say to you, like either coach or teammate, or even like a family member before a game, like right before a game, that would psych you out and be like, "Oh my God, why? I wish they didn't tell me that." You know.
Well, you know what? It wasn't something that somebody said. It was one man that had season tickets to the games. That rest his soul, he didn't get to see me play in the Rose Bowl. Was my grandfather, Jim Richardson. Okay, Jim Richardson. He had season tickets forever at Michigan State, and that just made his life. When I got a scholarship to Michigan State, he was a foreman at GM, and my grandfather passed away right before the Rose Bowl. But I bring that up because when I was before every game, I mean, it would be 76,000 people yelling and screaming, and he would say this, "Hey, Jimmy," and I would hear it. I'd look up and he'd like, all those, and I would hear that, "Hey, Jimmy," because they called him Jim and I was James. I was supposed to be named after him, but I wasn't. But he was the only one that ever called me Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay. So when he would say, "Hey, Jimmy," he'd give me that finger, like, and I already, that right there. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
That's like me. I can relate to that. Like, my legal name is Aaron, and I'd always say, like, the only people that called me Aaron was substitute teachers that I did like, or my mom when she was mad.
Mad, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but I love when he called me Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was our bond. That was our bond, and it was special. Rest his soul. He's watching over. Good thing about us, we got guardian angels, and that's one thing about death. You can't look at it as a bad thing because they're actually at peace. They're happy. They're in a place where they don't have to deal with this hustle and bustle.
Right.
Okay. And I'm 55 now, and I got more years behind me than I do ahead of me. And so I've come to realization. I lost my mom, lost my grandparents, my and it's part of life. So let's live life to the fullest with what we have left.
Yeah. I bet he's proud of you, and your whole family's proud of you. I mean, not just what you did on the field, but what you're doing today too, for young people, and what you're going to continue to do. So.
And I appreciate hearing that. And like I said, I don't do it for me. I do it for them. I do it for other people, right? Because it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about sharing. It's about being positive. It's about helping our community, because that's what it's all about. We've battled through a lot of stuff. This last couple of years, we've really battled. We've really battled with this COVID situation, and now we're starting to make a turn here. And it's just, and I deal with it every night at work. The negativity, and I tell them I'm not dealing with the negativity. It's like cancer; it spreads, and I refuse to spread cancer. I refuse to spread it. Okay.
Yeah.
Get it together. Our plan is closing in 8-9 months. It is what it is. Let's make the money and keep it moving.
Right. Well,
okay.
Yeah. Where are you working right now, James?
I work for Magnum MPT. Magnum
Okay.
Powertrain. We I'm a supervisor there. What we do is we build we actually work for Audi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Audi at all, but all Audi cars, you know how you got
Yeah, a little.
here you always got to hit a button to put your car in four-wheel drive or flick a switch or whatever. The powertrains that we build, it automatically, all Audis automatically, when they need to be in four-wheel drive, they go into four-wheel drive. Okay, they
Gotcha.
automatically. So that's the powertrain that we built at my plant where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, do you have plans for after the plant closes, or I mean, you
I
just take
have,
one day at a time?
I'm always doing something. I'm always looking. They have another sister plant here that I may go to, unless God bless me with some more speaking engagements where I can get out and do some more of this stuff and just share my story and get, like I said, get my daughter involved and share her story, and then my son will be out 24. Because I would just love to just go around and speak to groups and just share our stories, because and impact our community, and impact people's lives, and try to make a difference and help. It's so tough with this mental health thing going on right now too.
Yeah.
It's really sad, and the suicide and all of that stuff is really, it's just sad. We never had to deal with that when I was younger.
Right.
And it's a lot of things that I would like to touch on. But, like I said, I just continue to put it in God's hands, and He's got plans. He's got a plan. I just got to walk it out down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just got to walk it out, and he'll put my next steps in front of me, where they need to be at. And, when this plan closes, like I said, I just stay focused. And I don't know if you noticed, one of my biggest supporters and fans and confidant is my older brother who was in the article. Yeah, Marcus. He's right over me. He's the man that really I talk to a lot, and he keeps me grounded. And he'll pull my chain when I need to. But he knows my heart, and he knows what's going on. And like I said, I had to give him a shout out here too, because he's the dude that that's that big brother.
Absolutely, James. Did you have any other questions, Kentucky, or no?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. James, is there any place people can find out more information about
speaking engagements and stuff,
and where you're going to be at?
Right now, I'm in the process of trying to build some things up. So they can just SpartanJMoore@gmail.com.
Okay.
If they have any interested in me coming to speak at their place or anything, just like
Absolutely.
I said, SpartanJMoore@gmail.com.
Okay, so no Facebook page or Instagram or anything just yet.
I'm really I shy. I don't do a lot of social media, which I should though, but it's just so tough. It's just so tough. I just choose not to, because it's so much different stuff out there that I just like. You know what? I don't even. Yeah, you pick and choose at what you do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You can pick and choose at what you do. Once I get a manager, that can deal with all that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you got a great message, and that's the only reason I mention it.
That's fine. And like I said, if you want to, get it out there, let me know. You got my number. People contact you, tell them to contact you, and you'll, forward it to me, and then I'll get with them, and we can make some things happen.
Sounds good. Yeah,
guys, it was great, man. I really enjoyed this. This is like therapy to me. Okay, no, seriously, because I haven't had to talk about this stuff in a long time. And it feels good to talk about it and to share it and to say, hey, this is where I was at. This is where I'm at now. And that's what I want people to see. That's what I want people to take away from this. Okay, It's not about James Moore. Okay, it's about sharing and getting some therapy, getting some counseling, being able to talk about it, because that's the only way you heal from it.
Yeah. Well, we need good stories out there, especially good redemption stories out there.
Yeah.
From positive
There's so much
people.
negative out there.
Yeah.
So much negative stuff out there right now. That's why I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to hear
I don't want to hear about people getting shot. I don't want to hear about a 14-year-old killing a 19-year-old. I don't want to hear about that.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
But it's happening, and it's real.
Yep.
And it's sad.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Mr. Moore. I appreciate you, and appreciate your time. You were very generous with your time tonight, and you probably got to get ready for dinner or something. So
hey,
we're gonna
I
let
appreciate
you
you
go, man.
guys, and we'll be talking soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll keep in touch with you. Okay.
Hey, we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing the autograph signing the 30th of April.
Oh, where is that at? Can you let our listeners know where that's?
In Stanton. I'll send you guys the flyer.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll post it to our page and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you guys the flyer once I get the final one.
Perfect.
And then you guys will post it for me, and we'll make some things happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
deal. All right.
All right. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Have
Have a good night.
night, James.